suppose just a couple quick things before we get started. The reminder, no live video in this room. Also, there'll be, when we're done here, players will be on the second floor as usual, and media bus leaves the practice today, I believe, at 3:50. If you have any questions on that, just see one of us when we're done. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Claude. We're excited for the first game. It's time to take the next step and get to see these guys go out and play. I'm really excited about the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. I've been very fortunate to play in 3 of those, and I think anytime you get to play in an awesome atmosphere like the Georgia Dome, it gets your kids really excited. It's not hard to motivate them for the first game. So when you get a chance to do that, Gary Stokin and his staff do an unbelievable job preparing this event, selling it out, and the Bulldog Nation certainly deserves a great turnout and a great atmosphere to play this game in. So we're excited for it, and these players have worked really hard. I think it's different than NFL, where you get preseason games and you get an opportunity to see guys play before the real game. In college football, you always try to simulate that. It's hard to do, especially from a special team standpoint. So these guys have done everything we've asked of them, and they continue to work, and they're excited for the opportunity, and we're looking forward to it. We get a lot of young guys, an opportunity to go out and play. With that, I'll open it up.
Raise your hand if you have a question. We'll get a microphone to you, please.
Kirby, should Nick be able to go? Baseball has pitch counts. Would Nick be on any kind of monitored thing? And if that's the case, who's kind of in charge of that? Is that Jim, Dell? How would that work out for
No, he's been cleared. And, it's a situation where he's scrimmaged and done live things. And he's had a lot of practices where he's carried it more than 5 to 7 times. And we feel good about Nick. He feels great. He's ready to go. So he won't technically be on a pitch count by any means. So.
Now that you said that about Nick, any update on quarterback? Has the starter been named?
No, no starter's been named. We'll continue to practice guys and get those guys ready, and when it does, we'll let you guys know.
Coach Bauer, there's 21 oars on the depth chart. Just what does that speak to? Indecisiveness, or just competitions that close, or gamesmanship?
Well, a lot of guys playing. A lot of guys on defense are going to play. And, when your mom and dad reads the paper, they like to know their son's on the roster. So a lot of oars on there because you got to play a lot of people when people play fast. And we've got a lot of great competition in a lot of positions. So a lot of guys deserve oars. Yep.
Kirby, when it does come to quarterback, do you have any intention of playing multiple guys against UNC?
We're going to see how it goes. First thing we got to do is figure out who's taking the first snap before we worry about the next guy coming in. But I think it'll reveal itself in the next couple of days and continue to get those guys reps and get both of them ready to play. So that's the plan.
Hey, Coach, how tough has it been on defense to replace the guys that you lost? Because you had your primary guys, a lot of your tacklers are gone. How tough has it been to kind of replace those guys, linebackers, 3 techniques, those kind of guys?
Yeah, it's tough anytime you lose a good group. They had a really big group that was the big guys. When you talk about Leonard, DeLoach, a lot of those guys, Mays, made a lot of plays. Jordan Jenkins, made a lot of plays. So when you talk about the number of starts and opportunities those guys had, when you change those guys, I think that's where you get the anxiety from. A lot of guys playing in their spots and going in for the first time. Although some of them may be talented, they're going to be asked and called on to play a more significant role than they've probably ever played when it comes to the defensive snaps.
Coach, just real quick on Sonny Michel, has he been cleared to practice yet? And if not, do you anticipate that being the case for Saturday?
Well, he's been practicing. He's been practicing every day. He goes out there and does everything he can. He hasn't been cleared to tackle live. So it's a situation that's day to day, and we're getting updates every day, and he's doing more each practice.
Coach, on the quarterbacks, you've touched on this, I believe, in camp, but a lot of freshmen have played. And do you have any reservations at all? I think 38 freshmen have played in the last since 2000, and a much smaller number started the first game. Do you have any problem with that? And where it relates to Jacob, do you feel he's close enough that you could go that direction if you needed to?
Certainly. I mean, we're going to play the guy who gives us the best opportunity to win. We've stood firm on that the whole way through, and whoever that is, I have no reservations about a guy's age. If you're old enough to play, then you're old enough to start. If you're good enough to play, then you're good enough to start. I mean, it just comes down to what's the best opportunity for us. It's not about the age factor.
Coach, you mentioned about giving Jacob more opportunities, seeing how he handled those through the week and a half. How has he handled them?
He's done a good job. You know, we've gotten a little more into game planning, so he's done a good job managing those, and we'll make the decision based on the next couple of practices.
It looks like Trent Thompson is fully healthy and his ankle is fully healed after the spring. Can you speak about his development?
Yeah, Trent's playing really hard. He's a kid that's gotten better with every practice. You know, you forget that this guy was a true freshman last year. So a lot of times they're not on the field as much as he was. He had to kind of grow up in the line of fire last year. And he's come a long way. He's really a good effort guy. He's got a good motor, runs to the ball, and covers a lot of plays down for us and kind of erases a lot of mistakes. He does a great job. I'm really proud of where Trenton is. Expected him to be a good leader for this game.
Is there any further update on the battle at place kicker?
Yeah, you know, at place kicker, it's continued on. It'll probably be decided in the next 24 to 48 hours. We've got some good indications there which way we're leaning, but just want to finalize it, talk to the guys, and have a couple more kicking periods. Really the same way at punter as well.
Coach, what are the challenges in trying to game plan for a guy like UNC's Brian Switzer, particularly in the return game?
Yeah, he's a scary guy. First of all, he's a great route runner. He's really savvy, very intelligent, knows how to attack leverage and get open. Very dangerous returner, fearless. He's been a major emphasis for us. You know, he's really good at what he does. Good thing is we got a guy that can simulate him back there that does a lot of the same things. So we've been using Isaiah to help with that aspect.
Kirby, you've coached a game or two in your life, but this is your first game as a head coach. Will you be nervous? Will you be any different for Saturday than you have been for the last 20 years?
No, it doesn't feel that way. For me, the amount of pressure that I put on myself as a defense coordinator for the last 10, 11 years, I really believe there's a lot more decisions that go into that position than the head coach. There's 70 plays in a game, and you got to call 70 defenses. It's a lot different, you know, when you're the head coach and you're deciding timeouts to go for it on fourth down or not. You know, the things that the head coach has got to decide, that it's a lot different. When it comes to the game day, yeah, but not week to week, absolutely not. How we practice, who plays quarterback, all that's a whole different story. But when it comes to game day, no, I don't think I think the confidence in what we've done up to this point allows me to be comfortable with where we are.
Kirby, you might have said this, and I missed it. Jacob and Grayson, are they the two guys that you're?
Yeah, they're repping the most. You guys all reported that last week anyway from being at practice. So what those guys are repping, and they're getting ready for the game, preparing for the game. And to be honest with you, it was less about what Bryce did and more about what Jacob and Grayson did. Both those guys have done a really good job. And to be honest with you, Bryce did too, but we can't get three guys ready.
Kirby, when you and Nick were at Tuscaloosa together, you obviously had a lot of success in these neutral site openers. How much have you talked with Nick this month, and do you plan to talk with him
Coach
this week?
Saban's got to get ready for his game, you know. And to be honest with you, I'm getting ready for North Carolina. So, you know, the experiences I draw on are from the fact that I played in this dome 3 times to start off, not from calling or talking to him.
Coach, have you decided which assistants are going to be down on the field on Saturday and which ones will be upstairs?
Yeah, we're doing that just like we've done the scrimmages. So we practice with the guys up, the guys down. We talked about it before.
How much does Hollins, I guess, is going to be suspended for the first half of their deep threat? What is, I mean, you know, for you guys defensively?
He's really good. I'll just say that. He's the best gunner, kickoff cover guy, plays on every special teams. He is a dominant feature player. Now, the thing is, they have other big wideouts. You know, they've got Bug Howard from Wilcox County. He's a really good player, too. And they've got other guys that are matchup problems. But certainly, when you've got multiple guys out there, it makes it that much tougher. He's a really good player.
you alluded to this a little bit, North Carolina's offense. Is Mel Tucker maybe have the toughest job that anybody could for a first game, just with the weapons that these guys
You're saying compared to what? Toughest job compared to?
Well, we've talked so much about the offense and quarterbacks. Obviously, that's a challenge just from the speed they go and the frequency they get in the end zone.
Absolutely. I mean, when we try to watch, punt return, our punt return against their punt, we couldn't find many reps. That's usually not a good sign for the defense. So when you start looking at how you want to return the ball, you look at, when they punt it, they don't have many punts on record. So it's not ever a real good feeling as a defensive coordinator or guy on the defensive side of the ball, because they go up tempo, they go fast. We know they're going to go fast. They know they're going to go fast. So it's their MO. It's what they want to do, and they feel like they're at their best when they go fast. So it's a big part of the game, and it's a big adjustment for us because we don't see that every day. So obviously, Coach Tucker's got his hands full as well as the rest of the team.
In 2012, last time Georgia played in the Georgia Dome, you were there too, obviously on the other side. What do you remember most about that game?
I really been so focused on this game that haven't thought about that a lot. I mean, it was a very emotional game for me because there's a lot of ties there across the sideline, so that's always a challenge. That's probably what I remember most.
Kirby, just on North Carolina's quarterback Trubisky, I mean, what you see on him on film, you have at least got to see a little bit of him, I guess, from last year. What kind of challenge is he going to bring for your defense?
Well, he brings a different dynamic. He's a very mobile, athletic kid. They can run the ball with him. He can scramble. Things open up. Played a lot last year in a lot of different situations. They rotated those guys early on, and they got some designed quarterback runs that are really hard to stop with him because it's like having the 11th guy running the ball. And he's a really good passer. He is probably the best quarterback that nobody knows about, because in my mind it's almost like he's a returning starter because of what he played early in the year. And the guy does a really good job with offense.
Kirby, you've been through this quarterback thing as a defensive coordinator. How has it been different? How have you approached it as a head coach? Just kind of everything, managing your time, not like trying to make it take over everything you do.
I think the biggest difference is just watching the offense from the perspective of the offense instead of from the perspective of the defense. So everything we watch, every decision the quarterback makes, I'm analyzing what quarterback's making what decision, what broke down, why did it go wrong? Did it go wrong because of the decision he made? Did it go wrong because of communication? Or did it go wrong because the receiver or the O-lineman or the tight end messed up or the running back didn't block right? So you have to make subjective decisions when you watch that, but you have to be objective about the whole process. And I think that's the hardest part, being a head coach, is looking at it from the analyzing every play. Did the guy do what he was supposed to do to give us a chance to have a successful play? And that's not normal for me. That's not where I've been before. So now that you delve in that area, you sit there and you try to make the best decision for the team. And that's ultimately what this thing's come down to.
You guys went to the Georgia Dome on Saturday. What was the value of that, and do you guys plan to do a walkthrough on Friday there?
Yeah, we went to the Georgia Dome on Saturday, and that was more of the value of avoiding heat. We don't play outside the first game of the year, so we don't have the capability to go anywhere to practice. In the past, we've tried to use the Falcons facility that was up in Flower Branch, that was down, so we couldn't go there. And to be honest with you, I'd have been just fine going there, but we couldn't go there. So it presented a great opportunity, and as of right now, we're not planning on walking through Friday there. No.
Kirby, when it comes to your offensive line, your defensive line, do you feel more comfortable with the rotation you're getting there, and do you think things are closer to being set on the offensive line?
Well, they're closer to being set. We've got some guys that are playing winning football, but I'm very comfortable with the guys we've got and the guys that worked hard. I'm not comfortable with the depth. I don't know any coach that's comfortable with the depth they have in the O-line and D-line. There's just not enough big people. So we're going to try to play a lot of guys, both offensive line and defensive line, to keep those guys fresh and let them play. Now, the ones that can play will play. Those guys that we feel like can play winning football, that are ready to play. And I certainly feel better than I did in the spring because those guys have put a lot of work in and gained a lot of confidence. But I wish we had a little more depth, for sure.
Sir.
Coach, you have a litany of decisions to make, but with how frequently you and your players get asked about the quarterbacks, is there going to be any sense of relief, weight off your shoulders once it is over and in the past?
No, not at all. I don't think it's about that. I think that the biggest thing is we can give every guy an opportunity to go out and be successful. It's a burden to you guys, but it's not a burden to me. For me, the most important thing is making the right decision of who's going to go out there and be successful and execute for our team and our program for the other guys, so the other guys can be successful. But that's not it's never over. It's a continuous, just like who the right corner is. If he doesn't play good, then you have to change it.
Coaches, Julian Rochester been cleared, and if I could...
Julian's done everything we've asked Julian to do. He's done a great job for us, and we're excited about where Julian is. I continue to answer that question over and over and over. So,
I mean, will he be available to play?
Why wouldn't he?
Okay.
I don't know why he wouldn't, Joe. So, yeah, Julian's doing great.
And Lorenzo Carter, it seems like almost he's been a personal project for you in a lot of ways. What have you seen from him in this?
Those are your words. Those aren't my words.
Yeah, that's why I said seems. Right. That's my.
Those are your words.
My view.
Lorenzo Carter is a guy that works hard every day. He gives great effort in practice. We've challenged him to play with more toughness, but I wouldn't call him a personal project of mine. No, I would say those are your words. But Lorenzo's done everything we've asked him to do.
Coach, obviously you're not satisfied necessarily with anything up to this point, but is there one area of the game or position group that you feel like has made great strides during this fall camp?
Yeah, a lot of our groups have made strides. I'll be honest with you, the O-line's come a long way, gained a lot of confidence. I think receivers are working really hard. It's hard to not call out a group. It's not working hard when you're out there for 26, 27 practices, pushing through in the heat, and those guys have all shown progress. We challenge every guy to play with grit and determination, and that's what we want them to do. And if they don't hold that standard, then we get the leadership and also the coaches to kind of call them out on it. And that's the expectation. I think each group's shown improvement and must continue to do so if we're going to get where we need to be.
Kirby, back here, what is the update on Jonathan Ledbetter in terms of how he's doing, sort of not football related? How's he?
Great question. Jonathan continues to get treatment, and Jonathan's practicing with the team, and we hope he continues to show improvement, and he's given us no indication that wouldn't be the case. He works out with the football team each day, and he's in school, but he continues to get aftercare and be in some different programs, and we've encouraged him to do so. So the progress has been there. It's just got to continue.
Kirby, you were mentioning Julian Rochester. What do you envision his role being, and the other freshmen? Do you think you're going to play all four on the defensive
up front?
line?
Yeah, we'll have to play a lot of guys up front. So the plan is not about what year you are in school; it's how ready you are to play. And each one of those guys is repped in camp. So our expectation is that all those guys will be able to go out there and perform to our standards. Certainly going to be probably a little anxiety for those true freshmen, but to be honest with you, they've all come in and really competed hard, and they all play really hard.
Kirby, I know you said it's not totally different, going into this game week, but after, your first offseason as head coach, watching guys try to come back from injuries and suspensions, off the field stuff, how ready are you to just completely focus on football?
Well, I really think I've been focused on football since we started off. So game week for us started last week. This is like kind of anticlimactic for me because we've already been in game week. We started that on really Thursday or Friday. So for us, we're into the game week mode where most weeks it starts on Monday. It didn't start on Monday in this case. So we're kind of into it. And to be honest with you, my focus has been on this team and getting this team better. There's a lot of things I can't control outside that have nothing to do with the outcome of the game. So we're been focused on the guys that can play, and that's what we're doing.
In the media sessions, it looks like that Michael Chigbu has developed a lot as wide receiver and sort of stepping into that number 2 or even 1A role next to Terry Godwin. Can you speak on his progress a little bit?
Yeah, Chig's a very smart, bright player that kind of is a lunch pail guy. He comes to work every day. Gives you all he's got. He's very intelligent, knows how to line up, physical blocker, great hands. I've really been pleased with Chigbu's attitude. Not only that, he's a guy that takes ownership in the special teams, and he goes out and competes in special teams and helps our team, especially from a depth standpoint.
I'm sorry, mine's kind of going crazy. On Sony Michelle,
Yeah.
it's still going to be a game time decision.
We'll know when we know. I'm just, it's not in my hands right now. It's up to the doctors.
And Holyfield clear.
Yeah, he's day to day. Holyfield's out there going to do as much as he can today. He's still gimpy on the ankle, but we're going to get all we can out of it.
Have time for one more question? Anybody? All right, thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. See y'all later.